I welcome y'all to the PPL live show. Shit's liver than a California sideshow. On the board, all the teams talking mad shit, especially when the squad gets their ass kicked. PPL's like a bad bitch with an ass lift. Everybody wants to get some action. Making trades while we're drafting. One of a kind, no other they can match it. PPL ever coming to you live. 12 years strong and we're never gonna die. Real talk so you know we'll never lie. Betting down 50 trying to win the whole pie. Let's get the shit cracking. Welcome to the best sports show on the planet. Damn it. Tune in to the PPL live show. Kick your feet up like the blunt, get your eyes low. PPL gets you ready for the week. Co-host Matt Page shows hate when he speaks. Gino and the Jake gonna speak what he see. PPL motherfucker, I'm a OG. I'm ready for the shit to get started. Time to find out who's good and who's garbage. It's time to find out who the next champ is. Trying to win the whole pot, time to go cash in. World War III, time to load up your team. Hit the battlefields, leaving blood on the scene. You can speak what you think, I don't care what you mean. Focused on me, steady building my team. Now I'm sicker than COVID-19. EJ hops on the throne, but I'm coming for a seat. So's everyone else in the league. I just don't see a challenger stronger than me. With that said, dog, I'm ready for war now. Like I'm strapped in the hood, kicking doors down. PPL is my game now. Used to be fun, but the shit ain't a game now. Bringing the pain now. Oppositions laid down. Done with the flow, dog. Nothing left to say now.
And that was our man Charlie White giving us the 2020 intro to PPL Live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Gino the Gent here. And here we are with week 10 of the PPL season. Ulysses S. Haight is on the line. And we're going to jump right into it. Let's get into our week 9 scores. Starting with the Argonauts, leaving no doubt against the Baby Gas team. 142-90. The United Players, the Destroyers, get their second win of the season in a big upset over the squad underestimated. 107-97. Patty's Twins beats Appease the Gods. 118-90 to stretch their winning streak to 3. Only for the Boss skates by in an epic battle for Alpha Conference supremacy. 128-125. And the Gaff Attack defeats the Skulls. 120-109. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to get into our League No Doubt Players of the Week. Ulysses, your League No Doubt Player of the Week was none other than Aaron Rodgers. Talk to us about it.
Well, I mean, Aaron just came in and took care of business. He saw that the other team was not going to be putting forth the QB effort to win, and he sensed the matchup, putting the Twins in key position. I think, again, only one Omega team's going to get into the playoffs, and I think that it kept her in pace. So, Aaron Rodgers.
All right, and my League No Doubt Player of the Week is none other than the Argonauts, Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook was added again, ladies and gentlemen, running for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, scoring 43 points. He also added receiving yards of 46 yards, leading the Argonauts to a League No Doubt performance over the Baby Gas team. Now we turn to week 10, and we jump into the Alpha Conference. Starting with our first matchup as Squad Underestimated takes on Only for the Boss. All right, man, so here we go. Squad Underestimated, Only for the Boss. Squad fell hard, not taking that coach out in that Tampa Bay game. You said that might be a problem for them, and it ended up biting them at the end. Only for the Boss escapes. I think that was a franchise-defining victory for them, getting them into the upper echelon of the PPL. Only for the Boss 6-3. Squad Underestimated. No Chiefs this week, so it's going to be a big test for the Boss. What do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, I think that is the difference maker for me this week. Only for the Boss being so heavily reliant on the Chiefs. I mean, I think this is always going to be a challenging week, and I think that this isn't really any different. I mean, I think that the people that he's got in to cover are decent options,
okay.
but they're not. Mahomes has been our League No Doubt Player of the Week 2-3 times this season.
Right.
Already, you can't really get that, and you look across the way, Kyler Murray. I feel bad for Kyler.
Wow.
Kyler is putting up MVP type numbers.
No question.
And the rest of the squad's just letting him down. Called it last week on both accounts. Said that the Bills were going to take care of business against Seattle,
right? And
that the UP was going to fall to the Destroyers,
right?
It happened, but I think that they bounced back.
Okay.
I think that Only for the Boss needs this win, but I think they're just not going to get it. I think that squad, I don't think that they really have playoff chances in mind, but I think that, they should be the team that's missing their core three. And so I think
no Calvin Ridley either, Ulysses.
I mean, exactly. I mean, that's even more reason. One thing I'm looking at that's giving me pause is that Buccaneers coach D. They looked terrible last week. I mean, Carolina's not New Orleans, but Carolina's decent, and if Tampa Bay does that again, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'd be rolling there, but I think that they still have enough to get it done. Tom doesn't tend to lose those type of games back to back.
Right.
I think he gets this one 118 only for the boss. 112.
All right, man. I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think Squad Underestimated gets this one. And it's because of my man Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, I mean, back-to-back 40-point weeks. He would have been my League No Doubt Player of the Week if Squad could have took care of business. But they fell short. I'm also looking at Christian McCaffrey, man. He's back out of the lineup. He was there for them last week. He put up a 30. I think he gave them about 30-something points. So they were getting the points that they needed to win that matchup. And it was just, unfortunate that it didn't go down for them. Now, they do get Travis Fulgham back in the lineup. Kenny Golladay is out, so they're going to have to find a replacement receiver over there. But they've got too many good players on their side to not win this matchup. I'm looking at Matthew Stafford. Yeah, they're playing Washington, but Stafford has not looked all that great this year. He hasn't been able to take advantage of a lot of, his receivers downfield. He's been throwing a lot of underneath passes into the slide, into the tight end. He's not stretching the ball, even though he's got a big arm. So I don't know what's going on with Stafford right now. Ronald Jones, obviously, he was impacted by Tampa Bay's misfortunes last week. James Conner, I mean, he's had some good weeks, but I don't know what to expect there. Now, Stephon Diggs is a guy that the boss is going to have at full strength. And Jared Cook isn't a bad replacement for a week of Travis Kelce, so I like him there. But Henry Ruggs doesn't give me much inspiration. Seattle and the Rams could be a toss-up. The Rams could come on strong against Seattle. So I'm going to go with Squad Underestimated also winning this matchup 114 to 107. Moving on to our next matchup, we're going to the Omega Conference as the Gaff Attack takes on the United Players, the Destroyers. All right, man, so the Gaff got a win over the Skulls, probably a win that might put them in true pole position to win the Omega Conference. That was a big win for them last week. The United Players, the Destroyers, got their second win of the season, but now they turn up against each other. United Players, they don't look like they have a full lineup set. The Gaff needs this one. I think he's going to get it. What do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, I agree with you wholesale. I think that the United Players, although have been putting up, I mean, the last 2 weeks they've actually looked like a competent football team.
Right.
And I think that the wins have shown it. And I think, honestly, they could have done a lot better this season. I think you're right. The lineup's not set, but, I mean, they finally have the guys in the lineup that have been largely riding their bench. Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Cole Beasley. These guys were on the bench most of the season. So, I mean, they're in the lineup. But looking at it across the way, I mean, the Gaff just has a lot more talent, I think. And, Titans coach is a good one in Indianapolis. I mean, by no means a sure thing. But
we'll find out tonight.
It should be a competitive matchup, exactly. Looking at all these others, I mean, Russell Wilson struggled, and I think the Rams also have a pretty good defense. And I think, are familiar. So I think that might be a challenging matchup. But I just think overall the scoring potential here for me, I think it's just in line for the Gaff to get this one. I don't think that they necessarily run away with it, but I think that they get it. I'm going to get it 115 to the UP 109.
All right, man. I have to agree with you, but for completely different reasons. The only reason I think the Gaff is going to win this matchup is because the United Players aren't going to set a good lineup. I'm looking at their bench, man. Chris Godwin, he's projected for 11. Cooper Kupp, projected for 13. Kenyon Drake's supposed to be back into the lineup. So he's got more than enough talent to match up favorably against the Gaff, who, let's be real, their best guys are going to be Russell Wilson and DeAndre Hopkins and A.J. Brown. Other than that, nobody else on their lineup scares me. Their backfield is Leonard Fournette and Gus Edwards. Yeah, Gus Edwards could get some goal line work in the matchup, but other than that, he's not going to probably be the guy, especially if Mark Ingram comes back, that the Gaff is probably expecting or hoping for. Chris Claypool, anybody in Pittsburgh can get targeted. Big Ben is very indiscriminate when it comes to that. So it's not like the Gas got great plays. It's just that I think he's playing a team that doesn't have a coach, doesn't have a kicker yet. So we're looking at one guy who's trying to win a Pantheon Cup and a guy who let one slip through his fingers last year. I got the Gaff winning this matchup, 122 to the United Players, 107. And moving on to our next matchup, we go back into the Alpha Conference as the Baby Gas team takes on the Mean Machine. All right, man. So both of these teams are coming off of losses. The Baby Gas team having no doubt left on them by the Argonauts. And then the Mean Machine obviously falling 2 points short. The Saints blowout was actually bad for the Machine. Kamara and Thomas weren't all that involved in that blowout. But Justin Herbert continues to be extremely impressive. Brandon Cooks was a great find in free agency for the Machine. And we've talked about James Robinson. I've sung his praises. And they get Miles Sanders back. So it looks good for the Mean Machine. What do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, tough run. I mean, especially with the Seattle coach loss on the other side. I think that they did enough to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, hey, clearly not. But I think it kind of doesn't matter because I think that they come back in a big way here. They've got the more talented roster. The matchups are favorable. And again, I think that only for the boss is going to lose their matchup to the squad. Machine wins this and moves back into second place in the Alpha Conference at a very key point in the season. I agree with you. I think that for the same reasons, I think that Alvin Kamara, I think he might run all day in San Francisco.
Right.
I mean, the Ravens should beat New England. I'm not sure how easy it'll be. I just look at the other side. I mean, again, there's just not the same level of scoring potential,
right.
I'll say.
Right.
And with Michael Thomas potentially back up in form, I just don't see the Baby Gas team having enough. Looking at the scoring trends, the Baby Gas team has never scored more than the Mean Machine at any point in the season. So I don't think that this is the week that they're all of a sudden going to show that scoring potential. I've got Mean Machine winning comfortably, 134 to the BGT's 111.
All right, man, I'm going to have to agree with you here. I think that the Mean Machine takes care of business, and it's for a couple of reasons. Justin Herbert has been a revelation, man. Like, every time I watch this guy play, it's crazy to me that he wasn't the first overall pick. To me, he looks like the most talented quarterback to come out of the draft this year. And obviously he's surrounded by great talent, and he's taking full advantage of that talent. Whether the Chargers win or not is another thing, but him as an individual talent has been an A+. And then I go down the lineup. I love Alvin Kamara. I love Michael Thomas. Brandon Cooks had a big play last week that helped the Mean Machine. And then obviously Miles Sanders coming back into the lineup. He's going to really help that Philadelphia offense establish an identity, because I think they want to go back to running the ball more, especially seeing how Carson Wentz can't take care of the football. Now, on the Baby Gas team side, AB was actually getting targeted a lot, and I expect that to continue. Tom's going to try to get him comfortable. But I don't know how big of an impact it's actually going to make on the actual Baby Gas team scoring potential. Ben Roethlisberger is in COVID protocol, so that might be an adjustment BGT has to make. There's just way too many questions. Now, they do get Will Fuller back in the lineup. He's a guy that probably should never have left. Evan Ingram's been a solid tight end, but it's just really nothing. And Josh Jacobs has been a good running back for them. But there's just really nothing here that inspires me to pick the BGT. I like the Mean Machine big time in this matchup. I say that they have a week where they possibly could leave no doubt this week. I got the Mean Machine winning this matchup, 138-118. Moving on to our next matchup, we have our final matchup in the Omega Conference as the Skulls and the P's, the Gods, tangle in action. All right, man, so the Skulls, they had a loss to the Gaff. I felt like that was going to be a season-defining matchup for them that they needed, because they had the scoring potential, but they were unable to keep up last week. Obviously, Appease the Gods, they fell short against Patty's Twins. They haven't been showing the same scoring potential that they had earlier in the season. Both of these teams are 4-5. Both of these teams would probably have to win out to make the playoffs. What do you think of this matchup? Does any other team have any chance at this point?
No, these teams are playing who gets the best spot in the consolation bracket at this point.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any of the scoring potential on Appease the Gods. I mean, you've got Lamar's been benched. Skull should walk with this matchup. I mean, if they don't, I mean, it'll be indicative of their season. It's been disappointing for both teams, but the Skulls really couldn't afford to lose last week against the Gaff. Piece of the Gods really couldn't do the same with Patty's Twins. Those teams are both poised to make playoff runs. Again, just looking at the standings and who's playing down the stretch, neither of these teams, I think, are going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
And I think in the rivalry for top consolation bracket seeding, I'll give to the Skulls. I think they've just got better matchups this week. I think that they are just the more talented team. I mean, that's indicative of the points rankings and projections. They really shouldn't have a problem. And I actually think that as much as I gave Buffalo love last week, I think that they lose on the road to the Arizona Cardinals. I think that that's a sneaky good team. And, again, the Skulls, I mean, I think have just been bad luck. I mean, guys just haven't been getting it at the same time. You look at this guy's roster. He doesn't have anybody in there that at their position is lower than 12th ranked.
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, Appease the Gods has one, and it's the head coach that's in the top 5. So I mean, again, this should be a blowout, and I think it is. I think the Skulls show out. I think that they win this one, 128. Appease the Gods, 92.
All right, man. I'm gonna have to agree with you here, man. I think that the Skulls has so much potential coming into this season. It's kind of disappointing to see them with the exact same record as ATG, being that these two teams seem to be opposites or going in opposite directions. The Skulls have, high scoring potential with guys like Aaron Jones, Kareem Hunt, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and even McLaren. We saw him have a big play last week. They've got guys that, when you look at them, they should be a clear playoff team. And they're sitting at 4-5 like ATG, who started off strong and, is kind of falling off. When I look across the line at this matchup, I mean, they're benching Lamar, but is it really that big a deal? I mean, Teddy Bridgewater's played better than him for the majority of this season, I felt like. I mean, I know that Lamar has had some better rushing totals, but Teddy's been much more in control of his offense. Teddy's been able to move his team more efficiently and effectively, and I don't mind, that benching. Mike Evans is going to blow up in Tampa Bay when it comes to the receiver situation. I mean, AB got just as many targets as Mike Evans in his first game there. It makes no sense. I mean, like I said, they try to appease Mike by throwing him those 1-yard fades, but they should be using him a lot differently, and he should be a lot more effective, and that's hurt ATG all season long. I think, like you said in the end, the Skulls are a little too much for them. ATG can't match their scoring potential. I got the Skulls winning this matchup 126 to ATG's 107. And moving on to the prestige matchup of the week. We go into our interconference matchup for a rematch of Pantheon Cups 1 and 7 as Patty's Twins takes on the Argonauts. All right, man, so this matchup's a good one. It's always a good one when these two teams square off. The two, hallmark teams in the PPL. Patty's Twins coming in on a 3-game winning streak. The Argonauts have won their last 2, so we're watching a showdown of the two hottest teams in the PPL as we speak. You had Aaron Rodgers as your lead, no doubt, player of the week. I had Dalvin Cook as mine. Twins, Argonauts, what you think of this one?
Yeah, I think that this actually is a prestige matchup of the week.
Wow.
These are teams that are really, again, hitting their stride right when you want to. And I think that the Twins pull the upset.
Oh.
I think that the Argonauts, for most of the season, were really not playing well. And what they did is they went out and just got a rock-solid lineup. I mean, the changes that they've made to get Deshaun Watson, Dalvin Cook, Mike Davis now, and that was just via free agency. I mean, he's out here making moves.
Right.
ice in his veins, no nonsense going with the Saints coach. He knows exactly what San Fran is bringing.
Right.
He thinks in this matchup, it's money in the bank, and I think the Patty's Twins just have those guys that can get points, and I think that it just happens this week.
Okay.
They've shown that scoring potential. Argos have shown that there could be weeks where it's just not cracking
Right.
as
No,
much.
exactly.
And I think that's what happens. I think that maybe the Saints play a little bit tighter. I won't say that it doesn't get extravagant, but I mean the Steelers coach has been rock solid on the other side, and
Right.
she's playing a terrible Giants team. So I just think that it's just coming down to spot plays, because I mean she's definitely taking more chances with Robert Tonyan. He didn't really hit last week. T. Higgins in the lineup. I mean, there's definitely better guys out there. I just think that the Twins get it done and continue to fight for a playoff spot.
Okay.
I think that they win a very good prestige matchup of the week in leave no doubt fashion. I think that it's 142 to 138.
All right, man. I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm going to have to go the other way in this matchup. I totally agree with you about the Twins scoring potential and what they bring to the table. But I think that the Argonauts have finally hit their stride. You talked about it. They had to make moves to, patch up gunshot wounds. Nick Chubb's early season injury, Drew Brees' ineffectiveness, Ezekiel Elliott, what happened to him. And somehow they still sit at the top of the PPL with a 7-2 record, pacing the league and pacing the Alpha Conference. When I look into the meat of this matchup, if Nick Chubb comes back, the Argonauts are pretty much back up at full strength. And I think that they have and then Devontae Adams against Jacksonville is going to be a great matchup for him. However, what does give the Twins that advantage is the fact that Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback for Devontae Adams, and that's probably the Argonauts' most dangerous week-to-week weapon. And Aaron Rodgers, obviously pushes his buttons. I love the Chase Edmonds play. I know he didn't have as good a week as I expected last week, but I think this week he may be able to get loose. I'm with you on Keenan Allen and T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins is a guy who's got future star potential, as well as Justin Jefferson on the other side. I think both of those are the two top rookie receivers in all of the PPL, and they're going to square off. And then, obviously, Robert Woods is a great flex play on the Twins side. But like you said, I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be good. Maybe as good as last week's prestige matchup of the week. But I say that the Argonauts get it done. I got the Argonauts winning this matchup 134 to the Twins 126. Alrighty, PPLers, thanks for another week of PPL Live. Good luck, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Have a good weekend.